When time came into being, the minute has always been a minute. And God has not changed in all those minutes. That's a lot of minutes. Some people I know change minute to minute. Depending on what's going on, they'll change on you real quick. Jesus, God, his Holy Spirit has not changed in every minute that has ever existed. Just wrap your mind around that. He says, I am the exact same. I need you to get on my level. I need you to use me. So I want you to think it is time now for us to get to work in applying all the stuff that he's given to us. We have to sow what we know to do. We have to put it forth. I want you to go to Galatians 6. Because essentially we have to work today in order to get what we want out of tomorrow. That's the basis of that. I want you to really just, if you got a pen, write that down. You got to work today to get to what you want tomorrow. In Galatians 6, 7 through 9, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Whoever sows to please their flesh, from the flesh will reap destruction. Whoever sows to please the Spirit, from the Spirit will reap eternal life. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Key words in there. Please. Satisfy. Right? When you please the flesh, and that is your goal, that means the flesh is going to be happy. The flesh says, I want that. And it goes and gets it. And it's an accomplishment. Put whatever in that category that you want. Lustful heart, material stuff, whatever it is that your fleshly eyes see that it wants and it gets, now it's pleased. But only for a second. Because then it's going to see something else and it's going to want that. Then it's going to see something else and it's going to want that. Then it's going to see this and it's going to want that. It's never satisfied. But it's pleased, and you please in that flesh. And then what comes out of it? You know, I think about when I was younger and the people who I used to kind of not just look up to, but like, man, they're like, they all right. So it was certain guys who seemed like they just had all the women, right? Like everywhere they go, like they were woman hungry, right? They were never satisfied. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And then they would have this woman on Saturday, and then you see them on Tuesday, they with another woman. And I'm like, man, he got all the women. And then I'm like, man, I wouldn't mind being like that. And then I go over to their house, and next thing I know, they car scratched up, the window busted, and all types of stuff. Man, what's going on? A woman. I don't want that. Right? So you see, yeah, they were pleased, but look at the destruction that happened from, and y'all seen those stories over and over again. And then they got all these kids by all these women, and they go into court, and then they ain't taking care of that one. I'm like, man, all this come from that, from you being pleased. Yes. And we have a lot of things in there. Substance abuse goes into that. Materialistic thinking goes into that. Being greedy goes into that. Being envious. All types of stuff that pleases the flesh. But then look at what happens on the back end. All the destruction. But then when you please the Spirit, look what starts to happen on the back end. People look at it, that don't look like fun. But look at the peace of mind. Look at the joy. Look at all the love that comes out of it. And then look at who you want to call when you have a problem. When you need something. Who would you depend on? Couldn't depend on my money, hungry friend, because he out there trying to get money. If it ain't about money, it don't make no sense to him. Right? So, can't depend on him. The woman hungry friend, he got too many women to please. I can't depend on him to even come pick me up. When he come pick me up, there's another woman in the car. I got to drop her off first. I'm like, man, I need some help. Can't depend on him. Who I call? I call my friend who I know is dependent on the Lord, because I can depend on him. But that shows something about the Spirit and what he's starting to reap in his life. See, it's the practice in sowing and reaping. You must take actions to put your ideas into practice. Otherwise, you will never be able to reap. You have to take some action. Reaping is reserved for those who do what? Sow. If you don't sow, you don't reap. To deserve the harvest, you must first plant something. You have to plant something in order to reap something. That's just the way it works. If you don't plant, you don't reap. Basic, right? But you also have to understand there's a negative piece and there's a positive piece. If you sow positive, you get positive. If you sow negative, you get negative. You are always going to reap more than you sow. I know I'm telling y'all everything you know, but if I take a handful of seeds, you can put whatever seeds you want in my hand. If I put them in the ground, I'm going to get something bigger than a seed. It's going to be more useful than a seed, right? I'm going to get a lot more. If I like sunflower seeds, you like to eat sunflower seeds? I know a lot of y'all do. If I take one sunflower seed and put it in the ground, and I get a sunflower, that sunflower is going to give me a whole lot more seeds than what I planted, right? So I'm going to reap more than what I sow. So it shows me that in order to put that mindset to work, I got to work a little bit to get a lot. So what I sow, I will get a bountiful return. But it also works in a negative sense. When you sow a little lie, you get a lot in response. When you see somebody go and steal $40 and on the back end they go to jail for 10 years, that's a little bit of return that they sold, right? But look what they reap. It ain't worth the 40. But that's what happens. You're going to reap more than you sow. Happens all the time. But the thing is, whenever you sow, especially on the good side of things, it takes a little effort. It takes a little time. But usually what happens is you need good tools in order to sow. You need good tools in order to reap. See, the thing that separates a professional from a do-it-yourselfer, right, is knowledge and tools. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have the tools that you need, it don't work out right. You will see somebody who works for a company, right, and then they'll branch out on their own. They got all the knowledge. They've been working there, and they'll tell you, look, just call me. I'll come to your house, and I'll do it for this amount, right? Y'all have seen that before. But then when they show up, they don't have the tools that the company supplies. They got their own tools. And they can't do as good of a job because they don't have the tools necessary to do the job. See, when you got the right tools, it makes the job so much easier. It's amazing at how many do-it-yourself jobs I've taken on at home with bad tools. And then when I go get the good tools, I'm like, man, it's so much easier to do with the right tools. You can look at YouTube videos. I'm going to fix my car myself. Then so all you got to do is pop these little things out to get to it. Well, they got a tool to do it. I'm trying to use a screwdriver, butter knife, then get this thing flat. Let me see if it get in there. Now I done broke all the things off, and now I got to go get new ones. Happens all the time. You got to have the right tools. So God gives you the right tools in order to sow and to reap. And then he gives you the knowledge. You're sitting in here. What is the knowledge for? So you can learn how to use the tools. So he's giving you the tools. And if I just put tools in your hand, you'll be like, what is this? I want you to think about it. If I give you a can of beans, can you open that can just sitting here? You got to have the tools, right? And you can go in that kitchen, and if you don't see a can opener, it's going to be hard to get to them beans. You might can get to some juice, but to get all the way open to get to some beans, gonna be a little tough, right? With a knife, a fork, whatever I give you. But if you've never seen a can opener, if you had, think about what a can opener looks like. Envision what it looks like. And I gave you a can, and you've never seen a can opener. I shoved this can opener in your hand. What in the world is this? How am I supposed to use it? It really don't make sense to look at, does it? A fork makes sense. A knife makes sense. Spoon makes sense. Can opener is a weird looking contraption. But then when I show you how to use it and how easy it is, you're like, oh, y'all been using a can opener all your life. But think about it. If you ain't never seen one before, if you went to some remote place and say, here's a can of food, this won't go bad for a long time because it's been in this can. How I get to it? Here's the can opener. Don't compute, right? Oh, so you learn how to use your tools. That's what God has put you here. He's giving you everything you need. Now you're learning how to use them. Why don't you use them? Why don't we use what we have? We could get so much. We could benefit so much from what we sow. We could save so much time, so much effort. We would be nourished. We would be happy. We would be joyful if we just used the tools, because we would be reaping all of the blessings that we are sowing. But we're not doing it. The other thing is, what God has given us. So he's given us tools. He's teaching us how to use them. But he's also given us other resources. He's given us people. He's given us friends and family. He's given us those around us who can help us in this walk. So we need help in order to get what we need. But we have to communicate. The biggest thing about this life, I think, is people don't talk to other people. They try to fight internally because they figure if they can do it, I can do this myself. I'm strong enough to do this myself. And no matter how, let me help y'all understand, because I want y'all to really get this, because it's so frustrating, right? No matter how many times you fail, you could fail all your life. You still won't ask for help. Let's just take something simple. You take weight. You got people who've been fighting weight, wanting to lose weight for I don't know how long. And they don't try this and that and this and that and this and that. But they will not ask for help. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Still big. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this. Still big. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Still big. Right? I still want to lose weight. So it's the same problem. You trying all this stuff yourself, but you don't ask for help. I didn't know. Y'all know I used to be big. Right? I mean button popping big. I ain't want no little big, big, big. Is what it is, right? Swole. I didn't eat that much. Didn't know. Just was good with it. Adrian changes, hey, I'm all right. It wasn't until I started to ask somebody, like, she's like, go to the doctor. You need to talk to somebody. That's when you know you're big, when somebody tells you to go talk to somebody. So I went and talked to somebody. Told me my liver was all messed up. I'm like, I never knew. Well, how would I know? I'm not sitting here and my liver say, hey, I'm not feeling good. Y'all liver ever said I'm not? What's wrong with you? Liver. Never happened, right? So when until they tested me over a year and years and years, and then they figured out, oh, this is a problem. And once you fix the problem, like, man, I could have did this 10, 15 years ago. But what happened? I did not talk. Didn't say anything. Oh, went through another surgery with all this pain, just dealing with pain, just hurting for no reason. They just say, aren't you hurting? Yeah, but I'm good. I deal with it. How long you been hurting? Since about 18. I'm 33 years old at this point. Been hurting this whole time. Go talk to the doctor. Oh, we can fix that. Long process, but they fixed it. Now, if it was just me, I'd be 46, 47, still hurting. Why? Just because. Don't communicate. But it happens in your life as well. You got a lot of things that could be fixed if you just open your mouth and mention it to somebody. And God has put people in your life. Man, I'm struggling. I wish I could get this. I struggle to get this. I wish I want this, but I'm having trouble getting it. But our pride is too big. We want to give the testimony of, I was down and I was out, and I was this and I was this. But thank God, because he put it in me. And I went out here and I did this. And look at me now. Man, the same testimony can be said. I was down and I was out. And I went to my brother and I said, man, I got to fix this. And he gave me this. And look at me now. Look, people, I don't care how you get there. Get there. Who cares? But we care what people think. We care what people gonna say. As long as you are happy and good, who cares what people say? I want to take y'all to see how much, I want you to show how much control people have over other people. If you wanted to lose weight, right, we go to that one. If you wanted to lose weight, and somebody say, well, you're struggling, they got surgery. They got medicine that's been tested. They got programs. Who cares which one you use? If in the end you are where you need to be, fantastic. But then I don't want to do this because then folks going to say. I don't want to do that because then folks going to say. My first indication to this was I went to, when we were pregnant with RJ, I always like to say we. Yeah, I just watched. We were pregnant. I got to eat too. I'm craving French fries. Me too. We pregnant. Yes, we are. But I remember Adrian having this conversation with a family friend on natural birth, right? And the person was sitting there like, are you going to get the epidural? If y'all don't know about the epidural, that's when you get a shot to take away some of the pain, right? And the person was just giving her the blues on, I'm doing a natural birth because, I don't want the epidural because the baby should come naturally. And she was struggling with it. And thank God we did get the epidural because she wouldn't have been able to have RJ otherwise because it was a very traumatic birth. But here's the thing. This person tried to guilt her into a natural birth. So what I asked is, I said, if you don't mind helping me talking to the person, educate me, what's an unnatural birth? Like, is it an alien? Like, how else does it get here outside of natural? Because it's going to come one or two ways. It's in your stomach, and it's going to come out naturally. It's going to come out naturally. Is that person going to be in the room with us? No. Is that person going to help us raise this kid? No. I haven't seen that person in over 20 years, right? Well, about 18. I think about 18. So, but all this input they had during that time because they wanted to influence and guilt and make somebody feel bad on that situation. And that's when the bells start going off. Because this person was calling. This person was coming by. This person had all the input in the world, but they weren't even a part of our lives. They weren't even there. They hadn't been there in I don't know how long. I don't even know this person anymore. But we were about to make a decision based on all this input from an outside source. But what we did, we went to the doctors. Hey, what's the best option? We go to God. What's the best option? We go to close friends. What's the best option? Then we take all those options and we go with what God wants us to do. But you can listen to so many outside forces that can impact your life. And here you are, miserable, all because you trying to please this person and don't want to hear what they got to say negatively. I don't want to do this because when I go back to work, they're going to be like this. How many of y'all done changed jobs before? Changed job before? How many contacts do you keep up with from the old job? People that you used to keep with all day long and talk to that had all this time in your life. How many? None. I remember looking at my baby pictures. Mama, who is this holding me? Oh, that's such and such from the job. She just loved you. Where's she at? I don't know. She was at 2 or 3 of my birthday parties just holding me. Hey, never seen this lady. But there's no telling how many conversations her and my mom had around the time I was born, how much input this lady had. Who knows? Nowhere to be seen. People going to come into your life and they going to leave. But that don't mean you got to listen to everybody. They don't have to have all this input into you, which means you need to do what's best for you. We got to stop this because God got too much in there, but you got to communicate when you need help. We embarrassed to tell folks who don't really matter in your life about stuff you need. We as people will suffer from mental health, but won't go talk to somebody because they going to say, I'm crazy. Go find out. We got folks who won't go to the doctor because they might tell you something bad. It's in there. Tell me now versus now I'm sick. Man, you should have came a year ago. We could have got this fixed. Well, what's going to happen now? That's horrible. All because we stubborn. We got to do better. John 8, 26 through 28. Y'all think y'all can do it by yourself. I have much to say in judgment of you, but he who sent me is trustworthy, and what I have heard from him I will tell the world. This is Jesus talking. They did not understand what he was telling them about his Father. So Jesus said, when you have lifted up the Son of Man, then you will know that I am he, and that I do nothing on my own, but speak just what the Father has taught me. If Jesus couldn't do God's will on his own, what make you think you can do it on your own? But we will try and not be effective, and now we don't reap the benefit that he has put out there. Jesus needed help. He went out, and not only did he listen to God and serve God and only do what God said do, he went and got 12 men to help him achieve his goals. And guess what? There were other disciples as well outside of that did other things. There were people all around him helping him do what he needed to do. But you big and bad, you can do it all by yourself because God gave me a testimony. I can't wait to tell folks. Use what God has given you. Quit frustrating yourself and those around you because it frustrates everybody because you being stubborn. Don't be stubborn anymore. Let this be the year that you go out and achieve what you can get. Whatever you need, you go get it so you can be happy. And if other people not happy because you happy, they weren't happy with you to begin with. Folks want you to be just like them. Man, misery love company. Your single friend don't want your relationship to work. Why? So we can be single together. People don't want you to have. Why? So y'all can be miserable together. People act like you changed. And yeah, good you changed if that's what God wants for you. But they're the ones who are not willing to change. You will get a promotion at your job and people will hate you for it. Why? You the supervisor, they will hate you for it. They want you to, oh, you done changed. What, aren't we in this world to change? Think about how many times people tell you you done changed and use it as a negative. Why they not happy that you changed? Why they not happy that you succeeded? Why they not happy that you gained something? But they stop coming around because now you're achieving what God has in your life. So you people have to start preparing for your future. You have to start preparing for what is there. See, when you sow something, you prepare yourself to reap. So you go and prepare the storehouses because you know that you're about to go get some good stuff. If you go plant a lot of lettuce and don't prepare a place to store it that's cool, your lettuce going to go bad. So you have to prepare for your future. So now that God has given you all the tools, all the training, all that you need, you got to go prepare for what you are about to receive. So you have to have a house that's worthy of what you're about to inherit, right? So you can't put dirty stuff in a good house, right? So God's got some good stuff coming to you, so you got to clean the house up to get ready for what's about to come in. So don't sit here and just be the same. Start the process of getting better so that when you go to reap, you got a good place to store all that's coming in. Go to 2 Corinthians 9 and 6. It says, remember this, whoever sows sparingly will also reap what? Sparingly. Whoever sows generously will also reap what? Generously. So the more you sow, the more you reap. The least you sow, the least you reap. Very simple, right? You have to know that if you just, the fields have been prepared, right? God prepared the fields, which is you. He's ready for you to plant. And if you just sit back and watch, something's going to grow. Regardless of if you sow or not, something's going to grow. But what'll happen is it'll ruin the field. It's hard to prepare a field. I don't know if you ever just see grass. Grass is low. And if somebody say, hey, we're going to plant a bunch of stuff out here where this grass is. To go get that grass out and get the dirt ready is a hard process. And if you just sit back and just let that dirt sit there and say, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Guess what's going to happen? Grass going to find a way to grow back. And you're going to find yourself in the same situation all over again, having to go back and get the fields ready. And a lot of y'all find yourselves in that same situation. But in 2 Corinthians 9 and 10, it says, now he who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will also supply and increase your store of seed and will enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. So for those of you who don't know what to plant, God going to provide you the seed. You don't know what to sow, God going to provide you the seed. He's going to give you the opportunity to sow what you need in order to reap. I want y'all to think about that. He says he is the God who supplies all your needs. So when you sit there and you don't even know what to plant, I don't even know what to do, God. I give you what to plant. All I need you is to be willing to go out and plant it. I need you to stop sitting down waiting. I need for you to stop just hoping. I need for you to stop just being here stagnant. I need for you to go and work. Because, see, for too long, we've been living the same week over and over again. The week of not accomplishing anything. The wish week. If I would have only started last week. I wish I would have done this week. You know, if you want to get stronger, and you say, well, push-ups are a good way to get started. If you never start doing the push-ups, a whole year going to go by and you're going to be the same way. And you can think back, if I only started doing them push-ups back in January, man, in December, I'd be all right. Well, here we are about on the 9th of January. You going to do a push-up this year? Or you going to sit there and wait? Because you can't get stronger just hoping. You got to start somewhere. I want you to listen to this quote. It says, someone once observed that a wasted life is really nothing more than a collection of wasted days. As God gives us life, each one of us starts the new year with the same number of opportunities, 365. that we can choose to either use and invest in internal things or allow to drift by without taking advantage of the gift we have been given. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not found primarily in talent, but in diligence and effort. How many times have you looked and seen a wasted life? I've seen people who have not achieved much, but I know for a fact that if I were to go back, their young self did not have this as a goal of where they are today. They always had higher aspirations. When I used to teach the youth ministry, I would always ask the youngsters, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? And all of them had lofty goals. And guess what? All of them were attainable. But did all of them attain it? No. Why? Lack of effort. Right? Now, there was opportunities in there, but there was a lot of lack of effort. There were a lot of decisions that were made that didn't allow them to accomplish those goals. And then there were others in the same class with the same opportunities who accomplished those goals or some part of that goal, because it takes effort. We have to make sure, I'll say this different. I'm going to go here. Future you is dependent on today you. Your future self is dependent on your today self. Okay? What you want is going to take some tomorrows. Meaning you got to start today, because today is going to become yesterday. And tomorrow is going to come today. Right? And you got a few of those tomorrows to string together to get to where you want to get to. This makes sense, right? So if you want to lose weight, it's going to take a few tomorrows. If you want to learn a new language, it's going to take a few tomorrows. You want to get financially sound, it's going to take a few tomorrows. Y'all get what I'm saying? Whatever goal you have at work, school, life in general, you're going to have to string together a few consistent tomorrows in order to get there. But you have to start today. You got to commit today before you can ever hope for a better tomorrow. If you just sit back and hope tomorrow will be better, and the only thing you got is hope, it ain't enough. You got to put forth some effort. Let's make this a little more real. Somebody that you loved wanted to borrow some money from you. Hey, man, I need $3,000. Let's make it a nice amount. Because you got 5 on you, right? Let's go 3,000. Man, I need $3,000 or I'm going to get put out my house. So this is a big deal. Me and my family going to be on the street if I don't get $3,000. And you my last hope. Then they come with, look, man, I'll pay you back in 3 weeks. Well, you got questions, don't you? All right, first question. If you ain't got $3,000 today, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, how you going to get $3,000 to give to me in 3 weeks? I need a plan. Now, if their only plan is, I'm going to get it, we might as well go and I'll help you rent a U-Haul and we can get this stuff and you can stay with me a couple of nights, because it ain't no use in me just waiting. That's the only thing we waiting on is time. The only thing that I'm giving you $3,000 for is for you to be able to lay your head in this house for 3 more weeks. Because in 3 weeks, you're going to need $3,000 again. That's how it's going to work. Y'all agree? All right. So if that's your only thing is to say, well, if I buy myself some time, then in 3 weeks, you need to tell me you got a check coming, you got a plan, you got this. Give me something. But if the only thing you're doing is sitting and waiting and going to borrow it again, that's not going to get it. And I'm not going to give you the money, because that just means I'm out of $3,000. So what makes sense? Well, it's the same thing with God, people. When we talk about tomorrow, we say, well, God, I'm going to do this. What are you going to do? Because he's telling you, I've given you everything you need. I've given you all of me. I've given you all of me, plus gifts, plus love, plus my word, plus the Holy Spirit, plus example, plus all the people around you that can help. And on top of that, everything that you can ask or think. And all you're going to give me back is hope. You mean to tell me you just going to sit there with all this stuff and tomorrow going to be better? You ain't prayed to me. You ain't read nothing. You ain't applied this word. You ain't even called nobody to tell them that you're trying to get better and to pray for you or to assist you in your walk. You just going to sit here and do the same thing again. The same thing that didn't work yesterday ain't going to work today. It ain't going to work tomorrow. And in 2024, 7, 8, you're going to be right in the same spot doing the same thing and wondering why people looking at you like this ain't going to work. When I talk to my kids and they ain't doing well in school and I say, well, what you going to do? Try harder. Okay, that sounds good, but try harder doing what? Because trying harder is just effort, but where are you applying the effort? If you see somebody trying to build a house and they got a 2x4 and another 2x4 and they just got a hammer and they hitting it together and you say, all right, man, this ain't working. What you going to do? I'm going to try harder. You might want some nails. It might help you. Because just hitting this wood harder, right? It ain't going to go together just with you trying harder. What are you going to do with what you have in order to make it work? Well, God got tools for you. But if you don't use the tools, it's not going to work. So you have to put forth some effort in order to try. We got to stop wasting time. The field is there. You got the seed. You got the plows. You got the oxen. You got everything you need to put these seeds in the ground. The only thing that has to happen is you need to put forth the effort in order to get what you need to get in the end. Because there is such a bountiful harvest that is waiting on you. That is right there for you to just reap and bring in. But if all you got is hope, that's not enough. Nothing will happen if you just sit there. You Christian, you can go to heaven. But there is so much peace and joy and happiness in this world because we're not of the world. But there's a lot of things that we can accomplish in this world if we just put forth the effort to get it. And that's what I want for you. Because God will stand you in front of the mirror and says, look at the plan I have for you. And people, you're going to see yourself standing there looking great, looking fantastic, being where God wants you to be. I want you to think about that. Think about the best you that you can possibly be. And God is showing you that image. But then he takes into account what you're doing today. And all of a sudden, that image fades. And in place of it is a person of desperation, saying, I wish, I should have, I could have. If only I would have done. If only I would have tried. Back then, guess where I would be today? That is your future self. Your future self wants to thank your past self. Your future self wants to look back at your past self and say, thank you. Thank you for starting something. And you can start small. I ain't telling you to do nothing crazy. Start small. But your future self is like, look, I'm begging you. Your 2026 self is begging your 2024 self to please start. Please don't leave me here. Don't mess me up. Your future self is standing there looking good. But it's all dependent on what you do today. Because your future self is not guaranteed. Only if you put forth some effort will that person succeed. That's a whole living person. Your future self is a whole living person. So if you don't do what you need to do today, if you don't go to the doctor today, your future self might be sick. Might not give him a shot. If your future self is in pain, a lot of times it's because your past self didn't make the right decision to avert that pain. So you have to do what you need to do today. And if you fail, you got to keep trying. You can't give up, because is your future self worth it? Are you worth the effort? Well, if you're worth the effort, if nobody else going to try, you should try. If nobody else going to work hard for it, you should. Why can't you put forth the effort for you? Because you are that important. You matter. So if you matter, why not try and put forth the effort to accomplish those goals that God has set for you? Because the harvest is there. Last scripture. 1 Corinthians 2, 9 through 10. As it is written, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived, the things God has prepared for those who love him. These are the things God has revealed to us in his Spirit. The Spirit searches all things, even the deep things of God. What does that mean? That means that God has something out there for you that the world can't see. So that person that's in your ear telling you how to live, if it ain't lining up what God has, you need to turn a blind eye, a deaf ear, because that don't matter to you. If you look up and if you have nobody left from your past, only new people in your future, guess what? If that's what God has for you, sometimes you got to shake it off. Like, hey, I'm sorry. If y'all went along for the ride, I got somewhere to go. I can't just stay here with y'all. Because, see, sometimes I go back to the old neighborhood and here doing the same thing. I want you to understand something. I got people in my life who doing the same thing since high school. Do y'all know how old I am? You know how long ago high school was? Can you imagine I'm still doing the things from high school? It can happen. Y'all got people too? You got people who have never taken a step outside of their comfort zone. Why? Because it's comfortable. It's comfortable for a reason. People will shame you for trying to do better. They will sit there and eat greasy fried chicken all day, every day. And you sitting over here trying to eat some quinoa, trying to eat your salad. And what they going to do? Talk about you. Ugh, why you eating that? That's nasty. What's your response? I'm trying not to die. Right? It's okay to eat it sometime, but I can't eat it all the time. Nah, you just done change. I just want to be here. Nah, you trying to be sedated. You trying to be like them. People try to shame you just for how you eat. Who cares? Now, that's a simple example. But I want you to think about this example now. I want you to really think about it. If I'm sitting there with a friend and they ordered a chicken, I ordered a quinoa salad. They talk about my salad. Now, think about this. I didn't say, you should eat this salad. I didn't say, you eating that, you need to eat like this. Only thing I'm doing is eating my food. But they talking about my salad. I didn't reach around there and say, taste this. But they talking about my salad. The only person eating the salad is me. Why do they even care? How is this affecting them? It's not. But whenever you grow and try to do something different, people gonna have input. See, if I eat the same grease that they eat, and guess what? Conversation keeps going. They ain't got nothing to say. But let me try to better myself. Oh, people got something to say. But if you don't better yourself, you will never reap your harvest. So if we all stand here in a dusty field and be dirty together, the only thing we got is dirty people around us, dirty stuff, and an overgrown field. And we sit here talking about, well, it'll get better tomorrow. We ain't got nothing, but at least we got each other. Man, I don't want you. I'm tired of standing by you sitting here lonely and hurt and despaired just because we got each other. I don't want to be here with you. And every time I try to take a step forward, why you going to leave us? Because I want to go over there. You want to go? I want to stay right here. Well, stay. I got somewhere to be. God has put me in a place to where I go, and the only thing holding me back is my past. Let it go. It is time for you to go and reap a bountiful harvest. But you have to communicate. You got to use your tools. You got to come to class. You got to learn how to use those tools, and you got to apply them. And I guarantee you, you're going to walk in with a basket so big that you're just going to be giving out stuff because you ain't got nowhere to put it. That is how the harvest works.